Hi, I'm Joe with Team DW Foamies, and this is going to be a build of the Yak 55N 48-inch kit. Um, we'll be going over beveling, control surfaces, taping, gluing, everything regarding this plane, including a bit of paint video too on how to airbrush a plane of this sort, and then how to make templates for it and lay those templates and use them most effectively with your airbrushing. You can also use Crayola spray paints, and we'll give you a couple of tips for that too. So come on in, stay tuned, come by the thread and check it out. And hopefully every other night I'll be putting up a new video on another aspect of the build for the 55N. Most of the build techniques I'll be doing you can use for any of the DW Foamies. This is to get the most amount of throw, to keep the plane lightweight, and to make it fly and get the most enjoyment out of it. Okay, so I'm going to bevel this to get the most out of it. I want, a 45 to 60 degree angle, 90 degrees there. That's what we want, is 90 degrees. So if you want to do a waterfall, I mean, if you're only got 15, 20 degrees, it's not going to work out so well for you. So I always bevel both sides, and I do a full 45 degree cut on both sides. Use a new X-Acto blade. Typically I'll change the X-Acto blade after 2 or 3 cuts on these. The foam seems to eat them up. If you don't change them often, it will tear the foam. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make a quick scribe line over it with my X-Acto. And then I'll cut it again all the way through. And I always cut it once lightly through the top, because that way it doesn't tear the top of the foam. It keeps a nice clean edge there, and then we get a nice good bevel. I'll do the elevator. The straight edge I'm using is from an incidence gauge. It's thick, and I like the thickness of it. Keeps it steady. Once again, I'm going to just put a little scribe along the top. And then I'm going to go all the way through. These are mated together. And now I'll pin the two together. Line it up where I want it. That's ready for some tape. I won't stretch the tape. When you stretch the tape, put it down, it wants to curl the foam up. So I just want to center it over the hinge and let it lie down. If you plan on painting your foamy, you'll probably want to skip this and just pin it together and wait until later to put tape on. Nice 50 degree angle, 60 degree angle there. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Nice bevel on both sides. Strength. Mike and a lot of guys will put an entire length of tape for strength. I do not double tape both sides. I'll just put a single strip on each end. and then I'll put one in the middle, reducing the amount of overall tape. If you tape every single hinge front and back, and then rip all that tape off, it adds up pretty quickly, the weight of how much tape you've used. We'll set that one aside, and now we'll pull the rudder out. Okay, beveling the aileron for the wing. We have our assembled wing. It's just glued together, spar in the middle. When you're putting the spar in, this was pre-done before I picked it up. Sometimes we'll get planes that are half-built, since they're test planes for us, for the team guys. We never know what we're going to get. We'll get planes that are just under construction for the most part. You'll glue your wing together, lay it flat on your bench. If you put a piece of cellophane underneath it when you're CAing it together, it will keep the wing from sticking to the surface underneath. I will CA this center piece together first, and then I'll drop the spar in and I'll tape one side and then flip it over and put some dots of CA about every 4 to 6 inches along the carbon spar and on both sides of the spar. Hold it together, spray it with some accelerant, and let it dry for a few minutes. I'll wipe off the surface with a clean rag and then put on another piece of tape over the top of that, and you have your wing. So what we're going to do is bevel the wing. On the DW kits and counterbalanced wings, the counterbalances are the pieces extending on the aileron. These are the counterbalances. These do not get taped. We're going to bevel the inside here. Depending on clearance, a lot of times I'll put a small bevel on the counterbalance too, because as it's sweeping up, it will want to grab this. Mike has adjusted the file for this so it should clear by just beveling the inside ones without having to do the outside. We'll give it a shot and see how it goes. So we're going to bevel the inside of the aileron. That is our hinge point. I can already feel my knife getting a little dull. So I'm going to change the blade here and then continue cutting. Alright, so I have a fresh new blade on my knife. Check the inside, trim the corners here. Okay, now we will do the wing. I will normally put the wing back on because it is very easy to forget which side you're beveling. We are beveling the outside edges. Of the wing. inside bevel. I will put just a dot right here so I know where to stop at. Got a couple of our pins. You want to make sure the spacing in between here is about equal all the way down, so it will need some room to go through there. Clear, and then we'll drop some tape. I'm just going to gently layer tape on, and we're going to finger only the area we want to stick. And we'll peel off the excess. These excess pieces we'll use on the back side for strengthening our hinge joint. You can do single pieces of hinge like I do here, or you can take the full length of it and put it across and fold it over. A personal choice. The single piece to me seems to be less restrictive when you're looking for throw. So. Now we're going to look for anywhere where it might be hitting or binding. Here, rub somewhere. Right there on the end. Because of the taper of the wing, you'll get the tip of this will almost always rub just a little bit. A slight angle cut on it will get rid of the rub. Nice and clean through both. And there's our angle. Very steep. A lot of throw out of that. Okay, I'm going to finish cutting this one, put it on, and we'll take a look at the blank.